while protecting yourself can be difficult. Fortunately, there's a hotline you can call with any questions. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on vaccines, booster shots, and testing sites. Right now, booster shots are available to anyone over the age of 18 for those who are eligible. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline can also help with housing, food, medical, and educational support. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19, vaccinations, booster shots, or testing, please call 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Stay healthy all year long and protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community by getting vaccinated against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are safe, effective, and free, and approved for everyone over the age of 5. Wear a mask outdoors in crowds and indoor settings, and lay low or get tested before visiting family and friends or attending events. To get more tips, schedule your vaccine, or get tested, visit ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine. That's ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 30, Thursday partly sunny with a high near 40, and Friday sunny with a high near 46. Nightingale off 26th and Lindale has dining room and bar seating available. Menu favorites include the famous Nightingale burger and fries, ginger tamari chicken wings, smoked chicken liver plate, and more. Plus, they still do takeout and delivery. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu till midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Welcome all. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and my name is Robert Pilot. I'm the host, and we have Wendy Pilot, Gina Peltier, and up next we're going to have State Representative of North Dakota, Ruth Buffalo, and then it's Wednesday, Solar Bear with the Solar News, and he'll be talking about what's happening all over Turtle Island and how we can prepare ourselves for solar energy, wind energy, and hemp cars and all the things that really we need. So as you know, Wendy, we talk about Native issues, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Native Roots Trading Post. We're located at 700 Nicollet Mall in downtown Minneapolis on the first floor of the Dayton's building. Support Native artists.
Absolutely. Hey, so let's get going right away here. We only got a few minutes going, but we also have Gina Peltier of Honor the Earth, and she's sitting in and doing the news where you don't hear anywhere else other than here. This is the Native News with Gina Peltier.
Hey, Robert. Hey, Wendy. Hey, everyone out there listening. Hey, water protectors. Big shout out to you guys. Hey, I'm going to get right into it. I got a lot of news today. So Honor the Earth is having a Drop the Charges event for our very own Winona LaDuke on Monday, April 4th at the Wadena County Courthouse, 415 Jefferson Street South in Wadena, Minnesota. Please join Winona LaDuke for her evidentiary hearing on the Shell River 7 peaceful prayer intervention. Winona stated she was arrested because she wanted to stop Enbridge's Line 3 from crossing the Shell River. Canadian oil giant Enbridge paid over $7.5 million to Minnesota's Department of Natural Resources and other local law enforcement to arrest water protectors. Over 1,000 arrests were made on peaceful, nonviolent water protectors. Enbridge violated their state permits by utilizing counterinsurgency tactics. Simultaneously, during historic drought, Enbridge broke at least 3 ancient artesian aquifers, causing uncontrolled flows of hundreds of millions of gallons of groundwater. Enbridge polluted rivers with toxic drilling fluid in 28 plus frackouts and possibly releasing millions of gallons of toxic drilling fluid into groundwater aquifers to stabilize the earth during drilling and pipe installation, which was never reported. To learn more about this event happening on Monday, April 4th, check out Honor the Earth's Facebook page event page, or go to stopline3.org/events. Also, please ask Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to drop the charges against water protectors who tried to stop Line 3. Visit www.weprotectthewater.org to learn more on how to do that. And I will just go ahead and drop all the links in our chat to this. But again, go to stopline3.org/events or go to www.weprotectthewater.org. But in general drop the charges news, as of the last report, there have been at least 953 criminal cases representing thousands of charges. This does not include over the 60 people who were arrested, held, and not yet charged. They believe they do not have records of every case and that the case count likely tops 1,000. 587 known water protector cases are currently opening and moving through the courts in Minnesota. We've seen outrageous trumped-up charges for water protectors, including felony theft charges, when no theft has occurred. The absurd charge of felony, attempted assisted suicide, and gross misdemeanors for trespass on critical infrastructure. We've seen charges get dismissed by various counties in Minnesota. So far, at least 145 cases have been dismissed. This includes at least 2 felony theft charges being dismissed on the grounds that theft involves taking something, and the defendant's alleged actions did not constitute taking. Although Line 3 is in the ground and the oil is flowing, many water protectors are continuing the fight in the courts, including taking their cases to trial. These defendants are our fellow citizens of Earth, neighbors, and friends, simply working to protect people, the planet, and treaty rights. A trial was held for a water protector, Michelle, on February 25th. Michelle spoke to the spiritual and necessary reasons she took action, the destruction committed by Enbridge, and offered a challenge to the state and to the judge to punish her for protecting water, earth, and culture. Powerful space was held in the court, and there were about 40 supporters present in solidarity. Michelle won her case on First Amendment defense. She was found not guilty and did an incredible job exposing the truth. Hundreds of water protectors are still facing criminal charges in Minnesota for standing in defense of the water, the climate, and the treaty rights of the Anishinaabe people. We've got over 84,000 supporters who signed our petition calling on Governor Walz to drop those ridiculous charges. Of course, you can go to that website that I stated earlier of weprotectthewater.org. After an extensive review of which state actors can legally intervene in water protector cases, we continue to call on Governor Walz to drop the charges. And of course, I'll drop that link in the chat. Line 3 defendants aren't stopping growing the movement together, regardless of what the courts say. Defendants have come together to support each other through providing mutual aid and raising funds, organizing legal and general defendant support, creating community connections spaces, monitoring what's happened in the courts, and generating information flow, and much, much more. They're remaining connected to the reality that we exist as part of the movement for the collective liberation of all people, all beings, and Mother Earth. The Hubbard County prosecutor's misconduct has been exposed as he's unsuccessfully demanded money from Enbridge to pay for prosecuting water protectors. Additionally, millions have been paid to the police for arresting and surveilling hundreds of peaceful demonstrators against the Line 3 pipeline. Even the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources has been requesting millions to increase their violent policing of water protectors. Defendants in Wadena County are facing extremely harsh plea deals that are much more punitive than plea offered in other counties. In Wadena County, water protectors being charged with outrageous felonies are facing deals of 10 years probation and $16,000 in fines and restitution. The defendants charged with gross misdemeanors for trespass on critical infrastructure are facing deals of 365 days in jail, stayed during probation, so they don't have to serve it unless they violate terms of plea. And then also to complete 2 years of supervised probation. No other plea deals that we know of are remotely this terrible. And then in White Earth Tribal Court and Red Lake Tribal Court, they have accepted transfers of Indigenous water protectors. However, the Aiken County continues to refuse to transfer cases to Tribal Court, at odds with the rest of the counties to refuse to transfer the cases. In Wadena County, a judge has rejected the motion to dismiss cases of Indigenous water protectors and transfer them to Tribal Court. This rejection is currently being challenged. We wish all the water protectors best of luck and a huge chimigwich to all water protectors for continuing the fight and for all their sacrifices. Water is life, and we need to drop the charges against all water protectors. And then so in related news, it looks like there was a 348-page report published Tuesday on the state of the global energy transition. The agency said a massive increase in solar and wind power generation is needed, along with improved energy efficient electrification of transport and heating systems, expanded use of hydrogen made with renewables, and greater efforts to capture carbon emissions. Scientists says global emissions need to drop 45% by the end of the decade compared to 1990 levels. But recent data shows that despite rapid growth in renewable energy, total emissions are going up, not down, amid rising energy demand and the expansion of fossil fuel use. The energy transition is far from being on track, and anything short of radical action in the coming years will diminish, even eliminating chances to meet our climate goals. So we really need to continue the fight.
Thanks, Gina. Up next, Ruth Buffalo, North Dakota State Representative. We'll be right back. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging in partnership with Trellis. I have volunteered with seniors nearly 15 years, working alongside their compassionate team. I am honored to partner with Trellis as we help our elders find housing, compare costs of Medicare prescriptions, and learn how to avoid fraud and scams targeting seniors. We help our elders optimize well-being as they age, and we can help you too. Reach out today at trellisconnects.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Hey, we have State Representative of North Dakota, Ruth Buffalo, with us, and it's fun because Gina was really excited to see you, and Gina's been sitting in for Ogama, Ruth, and it's great to have you on, and we're so excited to see you and just kind of catch up what's going on with you. Welcome, as always, to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Dosha and Madzigadadz, thank you, and hello in the Hidatsa language. Thank you for having me. It's always good to be back in this virtual space with you.
Exactly. And we are always really just happy to have you on. Let's play a little catch up. What have you been doing the last couple of weeks? I know you're busy and a lot of things have been happening in the Dakotas with hotels and racism and things like that. And also, you just working on your campaign and also, always the MMIW is close to your heart. So again, thanks for being on.
Sure. Yeah. It's been busy as usual. I'm a mom and also a small business owner with my husband, and just love to stay busy. Former wellness director at a tribal college, so we try to maintain a good balance in everything that we're doing and have good stress reduction, but still lead a good example for our kids. And our kids definitely are leading the way too. We have a college freshman, a college freshman, and then a high school freshman, and then first graders, twins too. But yes, definitely current events here in the Dakotas, Fargo, North Dakota. It's election season, so we have a number of candidates running for local election. The mayor's race is getting exciting. Another woman from South Fargo announced today that she's running for mayor. So I believe we have three women who are running for mayor of Fargo. And then we have a whole slate of candidates who are running for city commission, including Anna Johnson, who is a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa. So that's very exciting. She's an artist as well. So, and that election is in June. That is our primary election. So those of us that are up for re-election this year, our election cycle is our primary is in June. I believe it's June 18th. And then from there, our general election is in November. But for Fargo School Board, City Commission, and the mayor race, that's the main election for those seats is in June. And I believe it's June 18th. I got to double check on that though. So.
Well, it's exciting. And before we get too much further, I'd really like you to get your website out there for people all over Turtle Island to support you. If you have that in front of you, that'd be awesome. We can just get that out there in the airwaves because it's important for us here at Native Roots Radio to support our Native brothers and sisters that are running for office. And there, Ruth4nd.com. Wow, there it is.
Yeah, Ruth4nd.com. And it has, it can link you to like other social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So yeah, Ruth4nd.com. And then there's, scroll down a little bit and then you can see where to donate as well. So like to try to do an online fundraiser every 27th day of the month for my re-election for District 27. So for March 27th, we did really good in just barely, 24 hours. We raised about $1,000. So super thankful for the small and big donors out there, locally, regionally, and nationally who are supporting our campaign and want us to continue doing the good work that we've done with everybody's help. So.
I can't. I want to get Gina in here because she was so excited that you were on, and maybe she has a question. But I just have to say, those earrings you have on are beautiful. And since we've had the new store, Native Ritz Trading Post, I've been really paying attention to people's swag. But Gina,
Thank you.
yes, do you have anything to ask Ruth?
Yeah, thank you so much for all you do. Is it easier for running this time around, or do you find anything a little more difficult or more obstacles in your way, or?
Yes, I mean, I wish it was easier, but it's not. It's actually probably going to be 10 times as hard. We've already received, some attacks and, crazy things about my residency that, that I don't live in Fargo, North Dakota. My husband told me not to mention it, but I'm sorry. It's there. It's bananas. It's crazy. So yeah, it's going to be 10 times as harder to win this time, but we're here to do our best and continue the work that Creator has called upon us to do. So for the people, and that may sound cheesy, and I apologize, but it's coming from the heart. That's because why else would we throw ourselves into the fire if it wasn't Creator driven? So
Exactly. And then what about redistricting? I'm sure with your state and their shenanigans, I'm sure you got redistricted in not a good way.
yeah, I mean, the redistricting committee, they say that they wanted to keep or protect the incumbents, which I am now an incumbent, but it's going to be a challenge. We have 3 precincts, and in the last election, I led in both precinct 1 and 2, but those 2 precincts have been sliced out and made into a new district, District 10 in Fargo. So I'm left in my current precinct, but which now becomes Precinct 1, and then it stretches further south, picking up 2 very rural, conservative red towns that are ranked number 1 and number 2 as the wealthiest towns in North Dakota, Oxbow and Horace. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge, and still looking for running mates. If I can't find running mates, there will be a change in which seat I run for. So.
Wow, though that's why it's really important to have you on here. And we're in people in Wisconsin and Michigan and Illinois. Please reach out to Ruth for nd@.com. Let's keep the progressive voice and someone with a good heart like Ruth, who's doing it for the right reason in office. So let's get some cash out there because that helps a lot, right, Ruth?
Yes, any bit helps, to help spread our message across the airwaves, and that's why I appreciate you all so much for giving us this airtime and just trying to get the word out there of our message and putting people first and continuing to move the needle forward for justice for everyone.
And that's and if we're not at the table, we're being served. So it's great to have representation. And you not only represent Native Americans, but you have a constituents that's progressive too.
Definitely. And the thing is, I don't believe that everybody is still voting. We did have an increase of voter turnout within this last election cycle of 2020. However, within the state of North Dakota, it hasn't ever reached the peak numbers of when it did during the Obama campaign. And so we know that people are just choosing not to vote. And I definitely believe that North Dakota's political landscape would be different if every person voted. If every eligible person voted, the political landscape would definitely be different here in North Dakota.
Wow, that's a really good point, and I think that's why we try to do rock the vote native style before election time, and to get the vote out, and we do outnumber the Republicans. So it's important what you're saying there, Ruth.
Yeah, and it's going to take all of us again, and we can't give up. I mean, as frustrating as politics are, there's the constant conversation around, we're local, we're different from national, but at the same time, national does pay attention to what's happening on the ground locally, and they are more bold and fearless in bringing forward our concerns, especially Indigenous and Black, Indigenous, and people of color concerns. Housing is a huge issue, incarceration, the overrepresentation in the juvenile justice system, criminal justice system, foster care system, the lack of access to healthcare, quality healthcare, the delivery of services, all of that is very much needed in a local conversation as well as it is being held in the national conversation.
Plus, all over the country, there's these bills thrown against the wall to see if they stick, and they're all kind of against or with voter suppression and all these things that the Red Party, the Republicans, are throwing out there, and we need people like you to deviate and deflect these bad bills.
Right. We just need a voice of reason in there and someone who is just going to stand up for the people and not be swayed in either direction based off of big money and the different corporations that are funding elections and meddling in our local, regional, and national elections. It is unfortunate of what is happening, especially in the region with the blatant racism, a lady saying she couldn't tell a good Indian from a bad Indian. But I love our Native humor and how that is spun differently. We saw at the Indian Collective's Unity, the March for Unity Against Racism. People were wearing a bad Indian t-shirt. It says bad Indian in the front and good Indian on the back and vice versa. So definitely just, I just love our Native humor and our community and how we rise above these circumstances. A mentor of mine recently had an unfortunate experience within the Kansas State Legislature. Dr. Pankawi Victor's Kozad was chairing a committee, and then someone made a joke about the gavel, saying is it a tomahawk? And just the blatant ignorance, and it's still, it's 2022 and we continue to face these things, but it just goes to show how much work is left, how much work is there that we still have to stay, we have to stay in the game. So.
Well, Ruth, thank you for stopping in. And it's Ruth4, that's the number 4, nd.com. Thank you so much for stopping in and speaking good. There it is right there.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be back after this short break.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Navigating COVID while protecting yourself can be difficult. Fortunately, there's a hotline you can call with any questions. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on vaccines, booster shots, and testing sites. Right now, booster shots are available to anyone over the age of 18 for those who are eligible. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline can also help with housing, food, medical, and educational support. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19, vaccinations, booster shots, or testing, please call 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986.
Hey, this is Tom Hartman. Listen to me weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Find more at am950radio.com.
The 2022 Consumer Report Best Vehicle Edition is out, and to no surprise, Toyotas are all over the top ratings. It's not just me saying Rudy Luther Toyota is the best, it's the pros too. The Toyota Prius, Prius Prime, and the Toyota RAV4 Prime all made Consumer Report's top 10 picks. Toyota ranked in the top of every class they competed in, including Corolla, Camry, Highlander, and the highest-rated minivan, and my personal favorite, the Toyota Sienna. Toyotas are great vehicles, and you can find them at the best dealership, Rudy Luther Toyota, the southwest corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950 for Snap Construction again. Does your home feel colder than it should with the furnace constantly running? Or do certain rooms always feel colder than the rest of the house? Those are signs the attic in your home may need an insulation upgrade. Snap Construction can help by providing a free energy audit for your home's insulation. The average cost of getting new insulation can cost much less than a new furnace. Plus, Snap Construction is a BPI certified installer. That means if you use Snap for your next insulation project, you qualify for up to $650 in total rebates from your energy provider. After my free inspection, my insulation upgrade was completed within a few weeks and the rebate check was in the mail. Snap to it and reduce your heating bill this winter with Snap Construction. Call 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP for your free energy audit when you mention AM 950. Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed exterior contractor and insulation company in the metro.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 30, Thursday partly sunny with a high near 40, and Friday sunny with a high near 46.
At Warner Stellian, we thought it was about time you got paid. Now through May 3rd, we'll pay you $50 for each qualifying appliance you buy during our Stellian stimulus sale. Save up to $1,000 on laundry repairs ready for fast free delivery. Buy now at warnerstellian.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, it's Wednesday, and we just had Ruth Buffalo on, and Gina, and now it's the star of the show, Bob Blake from Red Lake, with Solar News. Bob's howling already. Howling.
Hey, how's it going, Robert? How you doing, Wendy? Gina, how's it going?
It's going good.
Hey, I was at the Great Lakes Indian Housing Association conference today, up at Black Bear Casino, and they are interested in solar, Robert Pilot.
Yes, we all are, right?
Yeah, that was really cool. They had a lot of really good questions too.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who was running it was from Ho Chunk. I forgot his name, but he was one of the main people, and I got to meet the chairman of Fond du Lac, and I was just it was so great to see all those just everyone from Native country wanting to do clean energy, and I'm just so proud of our people for wanting to do this. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think you talking about us becoming our own energy company is really resonating out there, especially with the funds that are still out there and available for the nations.
Wow, great segue, Robert, into our first story. There is going to be a $9 billion increase. That's a 33% increase over last year's budget for more clean energy projects. There are going to be over 1,200 more people being hired across our federal government to start implementing and helping with the development and execution of clean energy projects across this country.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And I read somewhere too, Minnesota still has billions of dollars of infrastructure to spend too from those funds.
Oh, yes. I got to speak with Corey Strong today, who was with the Minnesota Housing tribal liaison, person for the state.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Bob, this is what we got to get this solar stuff going in tribal country, and the state wants to be a part of that and help. And so It's just really cool. And Robert, I want to send a shout out to Pilar Thomas, attorney out of Arizona, who organized this group, and it's going to be meeting monthly. And it's like tribal people all across Turtle Island, all across the country, doing renewable energy projects. And I got to listen to them and hear them, and wow, incredible, all the planning happening with our people all across the country. It blew my mind.
Hopefully you can get me an invite, right?
Yeah, I will definitely get you an invite, sir. And I just want to say that I was just so happy and so proud to be on that call and be invited and listen to everybody. It's like, man, I was like getting that tear and everything. Like, oh man,
Well, no, not only that, Bob, but you've been talking about this for a few years, and
Right.
it's kind of coming to fruition, and people are catching up to the great ideas that you've had and are asking you to speak. And here you are on the radio every Wednesday, and I know you're on other stations and other press, but people are catching up to the great ideas that you've had for a long time.
I can't believe it. I got asked to go out and speak at another conference from today. And then, yeah, I'm being flown out to a national conference in Canada next month. And I mean, just like, and there's another one in Wyoming. I mean, I can't believe it. And it's so cool to see the excitement for our people that they just want to do this kind of work and support it and be a part of it. And it just makes me so happy. And which brings me to another great segue, Robert. Distributed solar installed in 2021 basically matches the capacity of all new gas plants. So all natural gas plants that are, online, the solar that was installed met or exceeded their output. So meaning, we don't need to be fracking, blowing up the planet, making more natural gas pipelines. I mean, we have the technology. Let's just go with this. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's quit getting bought off, and that's do the right thing for not only the country but for the world.
Yes, and I think, Robert, what they don't tell you is like a lot of that natural gas, like it comes up and it's fracked and it flares, but it escapes too. So like we got these big like natural gas lines that are just, emitting up in the air and depleting our ozone layer and contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. And you know what I mean? It just
Mhm.
we don't need it. We really have the technology now, and I think we need to just go in this direction.
Yeah, definitely. And again, you've been talking about this for quite a few years, and I think people are catching up to the great ideas and the things that are out there to save the planet. Basically, the planet's burning. We forget that because we've been going through COVID, been going through all these other things that we should be going through. But remember, the planet's burning.
And how about like, organizations, companies that are leading the way? And I just want to, we just need to talk about a really important, organization or company, the United States Postal Service. They are purchasing 50,000 new electric delivery vehicles for their mail carriers. So they can, which will add to their 10,019 vehicles. And I think this is just incredible.
Yeah. That's have other businesses look into that too, and then that place that's they're tearing down the rainforest. Let's get that company to do it too. What are they called? Amazon?
Oh yeah, Amazon. Yeah. And you know what, Robert? Like you know that like during this last administration, they had some people that were trying to take down the postal service. You know what I mean? And and you know what? It didn't work. But like I've always supported the postal service. I have a PO box there. And I do that because I mean it's such an important service, and They do such a good job for our country, and this to me makes me happy to know, and that they are gonna purchase this many electric vehicles. Like, that is crazy. That's a lot of electric vehicles, Robert.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then once you give me one of those electric cars, and then you're putting up all those great charging systems across the 7 or 5 state area, that's just exciting stuff.
I get a truck, Robert. I get to have the Native Son truck. That's going to be electric. I don't know if it's going to be the Silverado yet, or it's going to be the Ford Lightning, but I will be driving an electric truck around. I'm
Very cool.
excited.
That is exciting. That is exciting. And it's just what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Let's make it happen, right?
Absolutely. I firmly believe, Robert, that we have this decade to really make a big push to save this planet, and I am going to put all my energy and effort into doing that, and just leave it all out there on the field. And I highly, highly suggest to everybody out there that is listening right now to join me, because it's worth the fight.
It is worth the fight, but again, people are catching up to you. And when you report on the things that you report, the companies are moving a little faster than government because they see the value, and they don't do anything that's detrimental to their company. They're seeing the future too, just like you.
Yeah, and like I said, Robert, I mean, the government is starting to move on this. I mean, they really are, and it's really nice to see. And let's just be perfectly honest. The last administration decimated the Department of Energy. I mean, they just did a lot of bad things, and there's just all this rebuilding that's happening right now. And it's a big ship. You just can't like turn it on a dime, right? And so I think that the changes that are currently being made by the Biden administration to really focus on clean energy and clean energy projects and all across this country, I think is a great move. And the hiring of 1,200 more people to deal with clean energy projects and infrastructure. I mean, that's just great news, because that means then that we could get this stuff done a lot quicker and faster.
Well, they got to get rid of these pipelines and maybe do what Winona is always saying, is run some clean water to our communities that need it, because water is going to be such a premium now, being in the stock market and anything. We got to get rid of these pipelines. And I know you always respond to that too, but it's just like, we got to move quicker on that. Right, Bob?
Yeah. And if I could too, real quickly, the headwaters bill, we had the headwaters bill on Monday, and this is about sustainable agriculture for our communities, and farming practices that are good for the environment. A really good documentary on Netflix right now is what's it called again? Sacred Ground, I think it is called. It is entirely about what we're talking about in this bill, and it made the passage and is going with the omnibus bill, and Kiss the Ground. I'm sorry, Kiss the Ground. That's what it's called. And it's really awesome. And Representative Her, she did a great job explaining that water is life. Trees need to have respect, and I mean that she is incredible.
Wow. Speaking of incredible, you're incredible, Robert. And thank you for bringing in 99% of the future looks positive when you come here. And we really appreciate you and that, and your messaging and everything that you're doing.
Peace.
Hey, isn't that the solar bear with the solar news?
That's the solar bear with the solar news. Ow!
Oh, and that's Holly for Wolves coming up next. Hey, up next we got Wendy talking our sacred animals. And again, thanks Bob Blake from Red Lake. I love just saying that. We'll be right back after this short break, Wendy.
Stay with us.
We are your relatives,
We are your relations,
brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters,
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
Homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Don't let COVID-19 spoil the fun for you or your family, so get a vaccine or booster. COVID-19 vaccines are safe, effective, free for everyone, and are now available for anyone over the age of 5. Booster shots are also recommended for everyone 12 and older if it's been more than 5 months since your previous vaccination. To get more tips, schedule your vaccine, or get tested, visit ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine. That's ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Good one, Wendy and Gina. That was really good. I think we're getting the hang of this.
And I loved how Bob Blake from Red Lake, he just like howled twice during his segment. I find that so endearing.
Yeah, we got him howling. What was it? 2 weeks ago, he was on Thursday and came on last, and ever since then he's been howling. Maybe we should switch it up. No.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Wendy. We're winding up the show here, and last but not least, a really important part of our show each day and each week, and it's been on for 5 years, is our Sacred Animal section with Wendy Pilot. So take it away.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani, and that means cares for them. And as everybody knows, I was given that name by my Dega Curtis, and Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajenga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level, and it's always my pleasure to do that. But yesterday, I mentioned I had a little meme here, which is a true meme, by the way, and it said one female dog can produce 2 litters of 6 to 10 puppies per year. This means one unspayed female and her offspring can produce 67,000 dogs in 6 years. An estimated 80% of the dogs will be euthanized in shelters. So why spay? Do you know 67,000 people who want a new dog? I surely don't. But I wanted to talk about our Gracie dog, who I have brought up in the past many times, and the humane pet store legislation that I'm going to be talking to our senator, Minnesota Senator Erin Murphy, on Friday morning. At 10 a.m. I have an appointment with her and also 4 other constituents. So we're going to be on a Zoom call with her, and we're going to talk about this legislation bill and 3 others. But the pet the Humane Pet Store Ordinance has been passed in a few cities here in Minnesota already, St. Paul being one of them, Eden Prairie, Carver, and I can't remember the other two actually. Anyway, but what I wanted to talk about was Gracie. Our little Gracie was a puppy mill breeder dog, and she was in a puppy mill for 7 years. So she was kept in a cage, and some nice person came around once a week and filled her automatic water and automatic food bowl and walked past her. And she just stayed there for 7 years, and she bred um, puppies. So I was kind of interested to find out how many times a year she was bred. On average, a puppy mill breeder dog is bred twice a year. However, they could also be bred between every 4 months. So she could have been bred 3 times per year. But let's just say she was bred 2 times per year. And let's just say an average Maltese dog can give birth to between 2 and 5 puppies each time. So let's just say she had 3 puppies twice a year. That would be 42 puppies. And I also looked up to see how much these puppies sell for. And an average price of a Maltese puppy is $650 each. They have been known to go up to $2,000. So let's just say on the low side, each puppy that Gracie had cost people $650 each, and she had 42 puppies. That's $27,300 that she brought in for pet stores in her lifetime. And at the end of her little life, her little sad body, after 7 years, she was auctioned off for $35 because that's how much she was worth. And I want to bring this up because this is such a heartfelt thing for me. When people walk into a pet store and people make mistakes. Listen, Robert and I, 23 years ago, made the mistake of walking into a pet store to buy cat food, and we saw 2 chihuahuas there. And Robert was like, "Oh, I had chihuahuas when I was a kid," and I was like, "I did too." So we took these 2 chihuahuas out of the cage, and we asked them, the people who work there, to bring the puppies into the get to know you room. And we walked out of that store with a bag of cat food and 2 chihuahuas that day. Little did we know where these dogs originated from. And we quickly learned. And ever since then, 23 years ago, and I learned this horrific way that these dogs are kept in these puppy mills. We've been advocating for these dogs, Robert and I, and we want this humane pet store legislation to be passed in Minnesota, the whole state. There's a couple of states in the United States. I think California is one of them. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But this was written by a vet. Every litter is stressful for the dog's body. For the sake of the dog's well-being, you should not breed your dog more than 3 times in its lifetime. Gracie was bred 14 times. That's the low number. She was probably bred more, but she was at least bred 14 times. And she probably they started breeding her between 4 and 8 months old. And on average, the vet would recommend you not breeding your dog until they're 18 to 24 months. So she started really early. Again, the dog's ability to become pregnant 4 months after giving birth is an approximation, but it works as a general guide. So she could have been bred more often. A dog's gestational period where they're pregnant is around 63 days. So it goes a little bit more and a little bit less, but on average 63 days. I just want everyone to know, in Minnesota right now, there's 140 pet stores that do not sell cats and dogs. These are places that just sell pet supplies, food, leashes, toys, little coats, everything that your dog would need. And that's where they make their most money. In Minnesota right now, we have less than 10 pet stores that sell dogs and cats that originate from these horrible puppy mills. So we want to shut down these 10 stores or less than 10 stores, and we want them to take on the business uh, of the 140 that we have. We want them to switch over to get rid of these puppies out of their stores and sell pet supplies where they could make just as much money as they do with these puppies. We need to shut down these puppy mills. So if it's in your heart, please give your Minnesota senator and representative a call. And if you don't live in Minnesota or you don't live in Minnesota, you could call your representatives to get rid of these pet stores in your area and just ask them to please have a humane pet store ordinance put into place. So that's what I'm going to be working on Friday, and I'm really happy to be doing that.
Wow, great segment again, Wendy. We got like 30 seconds, but I just want to say one of the things that really is terrifying and makes me mad is that the small little cage that these animals are in that can barely move around in, and it's just not right. These are our relatives, and thank you for putting the spotlight on that as always, really. It's if people don't know, they do know now, right?
Right, exactly.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. Radio presents I'm Awake, and I want to just say we are the seventh generation.
Free Leonard Peltier.
No matter if you're eating out or cooking something at home, eatlocalminnesota.com has you covered with a list of